All right, everybody, welcome back to Survivor Gabon.
For gaboning it up.
Last time, wow, what a mess, huh?
God bless this mess, You know what I'm saying? it
That's right.
was,
I mean,
it was quite a nightmare of what even. I mean, we broke it down quite a bit after the episode, but it was just like,
yeah, it's
what was
something.
the strategy made basically no
Well,
sense at
it's a desperate
all.
play by Bob and Corinne. All right, fair
Yep.
enough. Bob
Yep.
went going for Fake Idol 2.0,
Yep.
and it lands. It lands. They buy it.
Immediately.
Kenny and Crystal both bought it, but then Kenny within buying it, he then says, "Well, let's have our cake and eat it too. You vote for Maddie, yeah, you vote for Maddie. I'll vote for Corinne. She'll play the idol, and we'll still get Maddie out.
Right.
And but there's some steps missing along the way. First of all, the idol wasn't real. Second of all, he didn't tell them that they were doing that, so they assumed he was voting with them. So she wouldn't
Right.
use the idol even if it was real. And then next thing you know, now Kenny just put a vote on Maddie or Crystal just put who voted for
I don't
Maddie?
remember who voted for who. I think Crystal may have put the vote on,
I forget
but
which one.
yeah.
Probably Kenny. I think Kenny voted for Maddie because you saw in the preview how she was talking to Bob,
Oh
and
yeah.
he was like, "You just sunk my game, man."
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so yeah, so for now, for no reason, he voted for Maddie, and Corinne went
Yep.
home anyway. And what a mess, right? So
Yeah.
even their successful fake idol play ultimately
ended up being
didn't do anything
it
for him.
ended up being one of the stupidest.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not like obviously the stupidest thing is giving up your idol, but like it ended up being just like in terms of strategy, it was very stupid
Yeah,
because it didn't really
if
make
they had voted with
sense.
them, if Ken and Crystal had voted with them, they would have pulled it off.
Yeah,
But they
but they were
decided
trying
to
to be
split
too.
it randomly. Yeah, too
They tried
cute.
to be too cute with it. Yeah, I don't get it.
Like, why
I don't
split?
really.
Like, why are you trying to hedge your bets? Like,
Yeah.
one vote this way, one vote that way, as if it matters. Like, that's either you're going for it and they need
Yeah.
the numbers, or if they're using the idol, they don't need the numbers at all. They can just have two votes on
Right.
Maddie, and that's fine.
Right. And that. Yeah. Exactly. It's just that's the thing that just didn't make sense. Or like be like, no, even if you were gonna vote with them, try to get them to flush the idol out and say like, no, I'm not gonna vote the way
Yeah,
you want. Yeah, it was
it was too
crazy.
much. They just went to
Yeah,
they went to the sixth
yeah,
dimension where they didn't need to do all that.
yeah, definitely not.
But regardless, you gave the MVP to Bob, and there was a lot of Bob action this episode.
A lot of Bob. Yeah,
He won both challenges. He won the reward challenge and the immunity challenge,
yeah.
which he needed to win the immunity challenge to even give himself the option to do this the way they
Hmm.
planned on it. Um,
Yep.
that way
And he made
they would be able to believe that, like, okay, we'll use the idol on Corinne, and you have no other
right,
options.
right.
Otherwise they'd be like, well, still got to vote for one of them.
Hmm.
But all right, well, let's see. We're actually at the episode before the finale here. We're actually
Yeah, the
late.
penultimate episode.
Yeah, it's getting down
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Let's see. Does the mess just keep messing? Or
I
what?
don't know.
Let's see.
Guess we're gonna find
Previously,
out.
your power rankings after last episode: Sugar, Ken, Crystal, Maddie, Susie, Bob, and what a group! What a group, huh?
What a motley crew, as they say.
Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful. All right.
Hmm.
Well, as always, click the link in the description to see the highlights of our reaction. Come back afterwards for the discussion. All right.
All right.
Well, the thing is, they shouldn't have said it. Like,
It really
they
didn't
had
need
no
to do
reason to
that.
be mad at him. Like, they were
Yeah.
literally trying to vote him out last time.
Yeah.
Like, especially Kenny. Kenny was like, "I'm mad. I don't know, I'm mad." It's like, he didn't do
Yeah.
anything to
Well,
you.
I mean, it's because it was, you don't, it's not fun having to hear somebody whine and complain that they
Right,
had their vote name written down the whole time.
but like, yeah, Maddie
But there
did
was no,
try to vote for Crystal earlier in the season.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah. There's no real reason there's no real reason to have done that ultimately.
Yeah,
So
especially
like
if
on the one hand,
everybody was on board at that point. Just like if Maddie
yeah,
doesn't win, we'll vote him out. So it's like they
yeah,
could have just kept quiet about
right,
it, and probably would have been
yeah,
fine. Yeah. So there you go. Crystal's voted out.
yeah,
What
because she's one of
a
the bad guys, quote
what a
unquote.
turn. I mean, Sugar will do it to you. She flipped the scripts.
Repeatedly, in fact. She did it to freaking. She did it freaking. Whatever the hell his name was.
Ace.
Ace. Where is he on here? Oh, right. He was in the double vote out. So he's like in the middle of my notes. So I was like, I couldn't find his name. Yeah, I got rid of Ace
Yeah, she did do that, and then
for an emotional decision.
and then she voted Brandy, or like voted against Charlie basically because she didn't like the people on that side. But now she wants to be with the good guys, so she sees Kenny. Well, they didn't do themselves any favors. You know,
No.
it started with the Maddie stuff, arguing with Maddie, but then it became now Ken's coming over with the scheme of like
So like
he's gonna give
pulling
me
over on Bob.
yeah, he's gonna give me his immunity, and then we're gonna vote him out. So not even doing the Maddie plan anymore. So
Yeah. That
it's
to me
tough.
was
Like
sort of like
he got a little too big for his britches. I think he wanted to really just. He thought he could just completely steer it wherever he wanted, and with no.
yeah.
With reckless
It's
abandon.
not it was a smart game for a while, but it's like he's steered it way out of control. He's like lost. He's basically like lost control of the fire. Like he started a fire and he had it under control for a while, but then he just kept throwing lighter fluid on it. And now he doesn't know he
It's
can't
crazy
control
because
it.
he
He
had
had the
it.
game
Well, he
unlocked.
had it last time when
Yeah.
before he voted for Maddie. If he
Yeah.
didn't do that, it would have been sitting pretty. But even after that, he comes back. Everybody is actually still on board to vote Maddie
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
time.
Because it's just like, well, Maddie's we don't really like him, and he's
And Chris and
a physical
Sugar,
threat.
even after
Right.
the vote, was like,
Yeah.
I'm still on board with Kenny and Crystal. They're my alliance.
Yeah. Right.
And so then he somehow fumbles that too.
Yeah. Where she's just
Crazy.
like, they're the bad guys. I don't like them anymore.
Another like overplay. Like I'm gonna make Bob give me the immunity and vote him out. I want to do the whole Eric Reichenbach on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Way too much. Way too much going on there.
And then it's like, you're gonna turn some people away. We have no idea what Susie's thinking at any time, but we know how actively Sugar was turned off by these things. So, and Maddie obviously is going to be quick to vote for Crystal. They just tried to get him out. Yeah, what a miss.
It's just everything about it is wild. I don't know. It's just like not. Yeah, it's like really dumb misplays by the strategic people.
And the episode
like
started with
horrible.
Bob wanting to get in good with Ken and Crystal.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, everybody's on board with getting Crystal out because
Right,
of this
and it's
stuff.
just like because of them overplaying, which I understand. But Sugar has literally been like a chaotic element to the degree of Dreams in terms of like
yeah.
what the fuck are you doing at any given point? It's like hard to keep track of like what she's gonna do because like you said, solidly she's gonna vote out Maddie, and then
But it's
they
like
lay it on
like
too
her
thick, and
eyes,
she
like she's woken up. You know, it's like whoa,
Yeah.
I'm seeing it now.
she's just like an empath completely and utterly, and she just like can't see any disrespect whatsoever. And so it's like, oh, they're throwing shit at Maddie, they're throwing shade on Bob. You can't have any of that. They're bad guys now.
And yeah, I mean, Ken kind of pulled the curtain back a little bit too much, showing how he is so much like she was like, yeah, he's the mastermind, and
right.
I don't want to be with that.
Right, and that what's kind of funny to me a little bit about that was that she's like crying like, oh, I respect you, Bob, and Bob's kind of like he'd even said in a confession, he's like, I don't really know her all that well, like he barely really said too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, I don't know if I should trust her, and I don't know if I shouldn't trust her.
Reason.
And then she's like, oh, I love you, I respect you so much. She's like, thank you, I respect that. This is kind of like a funny like.
He's like, I'll take it, basically.
Yeah, it was sort of like cool. Like, I guess, thanks.
Bob's such a force. Like everybody's shaking now. It's like Bob domination. So
Crazy.
Bob again won both the reward and immunity challenge. The reward, he took Crystal and Kenny to
Yep.
the gorilla sanctuary, which was cool. And that was essentially him trying to win back favor because he genuinely felt bad for
Yeah.
putting Kenny in that spot. So yeah, Kenny really fumbled that. He went from actually feeling bad for him to Sugar coming up and telling him, "Oh, he was telling us if you give him the immunity, they're gonna vote you
Yeah.
out." Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for
Oh,
letting me
okay.
know.
Cool. Thanks.
So
Yeah.
like his stock plummeted. I mean, obviously Crystal's stock
Yeah.
plummeted
Right.
even worse. But
Right. But I just don't get like why go after Bob now? That just seemed like such an overreach. Like get rid of Maddie, you can get rid of Bob at a later date.
I think
Like
he
I get
just
that there's
yeah,
only
he's
I get there's only a
overscheming.
certain amount of time left, but like if you can try to get Bob out in the last two challenges to keep him out of the final three, like that's I think is ultimately what you need to try to do because I think it's an easy to say the favorite probably to at least some is probably Bob. He's an older guy. He's very well respected. He's played a pretty good game, played a clean game. Everybody seems to like him. So it seems to me like he's probably a favorite if he's in the final three, especially up against like Kenny, who's played a much more devious game, trickster.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But Kenny is a gamer. He wanted to
Yeah,
get that play of the game. It just looked too
he
juicy.
really
He was
did.
like, I want to get him.
Yeah,
I want to do the Eric Reichenbach.
he wanted to get the play of the game. He
Vote someone out
wanted to
after getting
no
their immunity.
and no Johns.
Well,
So.
yeah, too bad there's no John this season. Like, no John.
Yeah, then you can make all kinds of jokes. Apparently, so though supposedly, theoretically, I guess Jeff did say call him the king at one
The
point.
king.
So
Even the king
which was
just lost
yeah,
whatever he said sometimes.
right.
Yeah.
Which was
That was a cool
also,
challenge, too, though.
I liked that a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That challenge was great.
Actually, am I mixing them up? What was the reward challenge? The reward challenge was just the basket.
The
right?
obstacle,
Obstacle
it's like the
course?
obstacle course, and you through the basket.
Yeah. So
And
the
the
immunity challenge is the blindfolded mask.
yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta place
super
it.
cool. I like that
Cool.
one a lot because you had to. It really requires you to kind of like to really like memorize the shapes with the feelings of your hand. So it's like
Yeah, like the crystal
fine.
going off the course first, and then
Yeah,
for the
and
second half of the
Susie's
challenge,
just
Susie's just out there.
So he's just out in the field, like completely
Susie,
lost.
yeah, I mean, and it's like a metaphor for the game. Like we're not even
Yeah.
bothering. We're not gonna check in on Susie. What is she thinking? What
Yeah.
like why does she vote the way she does? You know,
How she gets so horribly lost, we don't know.
but is she
It's
really
it's
just with
Susie.
Maddie? Is that what it is? We don't know. We're not getting any insight from her.
Yeah. So, but they went to a gorilla sanctuary. That was a cool reward.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that. Love that.
Yeah.
And ultimately, Crystal gets voted out, which is tragic.
Crystal's out.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean,
Yeah. She's been
great.
a fighter this whole time. She's scrappy. You know, like she said, she hadn't got a single reward the whole time, pretty much. And
The only saving grace is perhaps if she got to final tribal, we would have to hear from the jury, and it might not have been a pretty.
oh yeah,
That might
with
not have been
with
fun.
old Randall.
Yeah, like
Randy.
she's got a couple haters on that
Yeah.
bench. So,
Yeah.
but who would you give your MVP for the episode? First of all, that's interesting, huh?
I mean, I think you kind of have to. As much as I want to give it to Bob because Bob has kind of like come into his own. I think you got to give it to Sugar because completely shifting the game around again
We
in
didn't
another
mention.
crazy, complete way.
We didn't mention she gave the idol to Maddie as
She
well.
gave the idol to Maddie to play it. Yeah.
Which didn't matter because they still had the votes anyway. It was just
Did
Kenny
they
and
ultimately?
It was
Did they
just Kenny
ultimately?
and Crystal that voted for Maddie.
Oh, was it just them? Oh, okay.
So, but it was just a
But
little.
it was a little
Statement.
final screw you basically, and also yeah. So I guess Susie just went. I don't know. I guess they convinced her. We didn't hear from her. We didn't even see the conversation where
Yeah,
they
that's
talked
what
to
I'm
her
saying.
about it.
Were you assuming that she's just
Yeah.
with Maddie? Apparently, she's
Yeah.
close with Maddie. She might just vote with him. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have to guess on that.
Yeah, I guess she thought her odds were better that way.
But Bob was
but,
obviously not going to go with them. Sugar doesn't
right.
hates them. Maddie was not going. Yeah, so they like turned 3 people against them in one round. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. maybe it rubs Susie the wrong way that they were doing that against Bob too.
Who
Maybe, you know.
knows? Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, we never get a check in with her, so who knows? Um, but yeah, you got to give it because she's that sort of like, she did her part to rally everyone together against the two evil people.
Gotta root
It's
for the
like,
good guys.
yeah, I
Gotta
get a
root for
root
the
for the
good.
good guys. In other words, the
Jeez.
boring people. Fucking Maddie and Susie over here, give me a fucking
Give
break.
me a fucking.
Like I
Ah.
stand Bob, don't get me wrong, and Sugar to a degree, but like, come on,
Bob is just thrilling. He pops on the screen. He's
he pops.
charismatic, like all get out.
Bob just fills the. I always have a soft spot for the old guy, the old man.
uh,
I remember, this is a classic Alec. I love the old guy. It's big, goes back a ways, but
that's right.
yeah.
All right. There you go. Well, how we
He's
got? Let's do a power ranking going into the
yeah.
finale. All right. Final 5.
Okay. This is a whole total shakeup
All right.
now. Now that everything's happened now. I'm gonna say something kind of wild. I'm gonna go Bob, Sugar, Maddie, Susie, Ken.
All right.
Complete upending.
Yeah.
It's all over the place now.
Yeah. Last time it was Ken, Sugar, Crystal, Maddie, Susie. No, Sugar, Ken, Crystal, Maddie, Susie, Bob.
Yeah.
Wild. We'll see. So we'll talk about it when we watch the finale and everything. We'll have an extended reaction, everything for that. It'll be a big,
Always
spectacular event. But who
pull
are you
out
rooting
the
for
stops.
going into the finale? Who would you most want to see win?
I mean, even though he's been fumbling, like I'd love to see Ken somehow pull it off. Like the mastermind. I like the devious play. I mean, it's always the interesting survivor player. But I think for a dark horse, Maddie would be like really kind of weird because it's like I can't think of a more like the strong guy that has performed worse in a survivor, and it would be interesting, but like I just don't see anyone voting for like him over, say it, unless it's like him, Kenny, and Susie in the final 3. I don't see anyone voting for like him over like Bob. Like if Bob's in there, like everyone's gonna vote for Bob.
But it's a
Now if
wild final 5 though.
this is crazy. You would never like where's Charlie? Where's Marcus? It's like the staples of like who you'd expect from this. And it's like you got half rate. You have Marcus at home. You've got Bob, the old guy. You've got I don't know who she is, Susie. You've got the goes wherever the window may blow her, Sugar. And then the mastermind, Ken, who's like on the outs completely from everybody. So it's like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
It's kind of all up in the air.
Susie was a social pariah at one point,
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
and Bob was invisible, just completely invisible on the TV show.
Completely.
And Maddie was always just kind of there, and like.
Yeah, it's like how do you play to these? Because these are all sort of like the kind of the misfits in a weird way. Like Sugar has dominated the conversation of the season, as has Ken. So like they've been like big power players for the whole season
for sure. Yeah,
I wouldn't say because I wouldn't call Sugar a power player. Like even though I put her at the top of the list last time, that's because she had they had the hidden idol, and she had a lot of power in terms of where like I saw her have a lot of potential power where the episode might go, and it turned out that that's kind of the case. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's just been a bizarre season, a very bizarre season of this show.
And that's what we're left with when the dust settles. One of these 5 will win.
A confounding season from like basically start to finish. This is all kinds of weird things that just happen. This is just like,
are you here for it or are you not?
I'm kind of here for it. Like, I don't think this is going anywhere remotely close to the top of my survivor list. I'll just say that right now. Like, this is like a mid tier probably, but I'm kind of here for it being like oddball. Like, I'm kind of it's fun to have something that's just so bizarre every once in a while. Like I don't even really know where like what to compare it to in terms of other survivor seasons. Like maybe it kind of feels a little similar in terms of its chaos to was it Chaos Aya? What was that? Survivor
Panama.
Panama.
Mm-hmm.
It feels similar in some ways to that. Panama.
Because I feel like the nature, the chaos, or the messy, chaotic nature of the season, it's pretty divisive. You know, there are people that
Mm,
love it, people that hate it. You know, it's all over the
yeah.
board. But
Yeah. I kind of like I'm weird. I'm still kind of in the middle. Like I think the finale will probably determine where I ultimately feel about it. Because depending on the winner, I may end up like being like, yeah, nah, I'm not here for it.
what do you
If
think is
if
the
it ends
most?
up
What's the most fitting ending for this season? You think?
weirdly, the most fitting ending is actually Sugar winning
Mm,
somehow against all odds.
yeah.
Um, I think the most satisfying in terms of a survivor, maybe most predictable or well, predictable in the sense that it's like he's the most strategic, cunning would be Ken, but like I think the most like fitting for the season would probably be someone like Sugar, just because it's just like
Mm-hmm.
she's had a weird amount of like non-influence and then sudden moments of extreme influence throughout the whole game. So
Yep. And she sat on that idol for so long too. Everybody
yeah,
just knew she had the idol for the
yeah,
most of the season.
yeah.
Mm. All right. Well, come back next week for the finale of Survivor Gabon,
Mm,
and we'll see how it ends.
mm-hmm.
All
All
right.
right,
And then
cool.
after that we'll do um
The reunion.
well there'll be a reunion soon after,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
do our ranking video where
Mm-hmm.
we'll rank the season and the winner amongst the rest, and then we'll do our full Survivor Gabon review. So
Mm-hmm.
that'll be fun, and then we're on to the next, just like that.
That's right. Just like that.
All right, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed more Survivor every week. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, why don't you go check out our review of Cruella?
Divisive. It was a divisive
That's
review.
right.
Yeah.
Trying to think of one we never mentioned. There it
Yeah.
is.
That's one that we
Well,
never mentioned. I sometimes forget it exists,
all
actually. So, all
right. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourself.
right.